What's going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of Pickin' Six. I am your host, Tyler. I am joined always by Connor. I just want to let everyone know at the top of the episode that if you like what we're doing, if you're new here, not new here, like, comment, subscribe. We want to keep doing this for everybody. We want to make sure everybody likes what we're doing. If you don't like what we're doing, tell us. You know what I mean? We're now on our third week of our third season doing this. So we enjoy putting these out, give out our picks. If you think our picks are bad or great or not, whatever, you tell us. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and yeah. Connor, how we feeling?
Been better. Subpar week on the gambling front last week, but it's an opportunity to get right here.
Yeah, listen, there's the only way to go is up. Yes, we had not our best, but we've also ran the table on other weekends. So it's all about that being 51%. That's what you're aiming for in gambling, right? 51%. So we're gonna try to get you there. Are you ready, Connor?
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Perfect. So off the top, Penn State minus 21.5 against Northwestern. Over under is 46.5. Now, Connor, you and I both know how this goes. We here at this podcast are all in support of the Big Ten under, and this looks like a great spot to do it. Northwestern is not a great team, if we're being honest. Northwestern, to be fair, Northwestern has gone over in 3 of their 4 last games, but those overs have been 39.5. They also got beat by Duke, went over 48. They did go under 38.5 against Rutgers. My opinion here is that Penn State's a different animal entirely than what Northwestern has seen so far. Penn State put up 31 to Iowa's nothing last weekend. So I'm taking this as a Big Ten under opportunity with Northwestern being involved here. I'll take the under 46.5.
I'm gonna take the under as well. I don't think I do like Penn State, but I just like with the turmoil of Northwestern, I just feel like they're kind of running under that new coach. So I think they do enough to be dangerous. Cover that 21.5, and it being a Big Ten matchup I don't feel enough points coming where I can confidently say Penn State will cover in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not picking a side here. I just think this is a great Big Ten under spot, and that's all I have to say about that. Let's keep it moving, nice and easy. We have Clemson minus 6.5 against Syracuse, over under 53.5. After Clemson's what we could call poor clock management down the stretch against Florida State last week, pulling the kicker off the beach out of his job in New York to come down and kick field goals for this. I think it was his first time kicking collegiate field goals in a game. I think he went 1 for 2, but the one he missed, of course, was a chip shot down the stretch, which, I mean, no, that's nothing against that kid. You know, I think when it's all on the kicker, that means your team didn't do enough to win. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, kickers that's what they're there to do. But if you're Clemson, you should be playing with a thought that you don't want to leave on the kid who's kicking field goals in a collegiate game for the first time. So we did take Florida State to cover in that game, and that's exactly what they did. Here, Syracuse has been on a quiet, I mean, they're no world beaters by any means, but I'm liking Syracuse here, if we're being honest. I just think that we could have a game on our hands. This line opened at 9 and has already moved here to the 6.5 spot. If you look at Syracuse is undefeated, and this is at the Dome. I'm sure that this is going to be actually a pretty packed out game in the Dome. Syracuse is 3-0 in their last 5 against the spread. 1-0 against the spread in road games. That doesn't matter. It's at home. Clemson 2-2 overall. 0-1 in their road games against the spread. 1-3 of their last 5 against the spread. So I like the Cuse Orange here at home as a home dog. What are your thoughts, if any?
I was fumbling for the unmute button, but I'm I'm on Clemson. I think this is a get back spot for them.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, like they own this head to head series
Yeah.
all time, and just like even though this game is being played at home in the dome, I don't think it. Not that it doesn't matter. Syracuse at like coming off a 4-0 non-conference schedule doesn't bode well going into their first game of conference play for them. I think Clemson will have a lot of adjustments compared to how things looked and how things went down the stretch for them last week against FSU. But I think they covered this one, this 6.5.
All right. People might claim that we always agree, but I mean, you don't think that this is like a down year for Clemson where Syracuse might be able to capitalize? That's how I'm thinking anyway. Yeah, sorry. Do you not think that Syracuse will be able to capitalize on Clemson being down this year?
I mean, they're down. I think it's more a spot that Hughes is up too high. I think they might be a little record kind of makes me feel like they're overinflated kind of going into this
Mm-hmm.
game. People I don't know. Something just makes it difficult for me to buy into Syracuse as a football team. Like even with the record, they're going to be overmatched on the talent side. I think Klubnik's been having a pretty solid season thus far. For the Tigers, they something speaking to me. I think
That's
they're going
fair
to be
enough.
mad they had their game with where they like hit the statue or something when they run down and
Yeah,
like choked away at home. Like they're going to be angry coming into this one. This is a game they should win, and a game they kind of need to win to be somewhat relevant this year.
that's fair enough. I'm gonna stick with the Orange to cover. I'm not saying that they're going to win, but I let it within the touchdown. I could see it happening. Going down the SEC, we have LSU -2.5 against Ole Miss over under 67.5, which is not crazy because Ole Miss is involved. What are your thoughts here on this one?
I mean, where's this one being played? This in
This is, I believe it's in Oxford. I can double check. It should be in Oxford. I'd be shocked if it wasn't because I would. Yeah, this is at Ole Miss. Yep, well, at Ole Miss in
at
Oxford.
Ole Miss coming off a loss. I think like I'm rocking with the over here.
Yeah,
These matchups we know are typically a shootout. I think 67.5 certainly is attainable on both sides. It's strict over for me.
yeah. I think you take all the points that Ole Miss should have scored in that Bama game, move them over to now. Lane Kiffin was clearly saving them for our over bet here. Over didn't hit last week because that was just a very ugly matchup for what you would expect an Ole Miss Alabama meetup to be. If I'm being honest, it was Alabama won and covered, but it didn't feel like how the games typically go. If you know what I mean, it just it felt close, but never too close, and then it just ugly on both sides. But I mean, 67.5. I'm not gonna say it wouldn't happen. Ole Miss has gone over the last two games. They've gone over 61. They've gone. I mean, their games have been set pretty high. Um, LSU also a great team for the over. Actually, they have gone over in all of their games so far this season, so that bodes well for what we thought. I think I'm going to take that over with you. Honestly, I think this is going to be a good one. Going to be a shootout in Oxford. Lane Kiffin's going to be drawing up some crazy stuff to try and score points here. I doubt they're going to keep LSU out of the end zone. Elite neighbors, Jalen Daniels. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with that over with you. As far as a side, I LSU inside a field goal. I would lean LSU, but I'm not gonna make that my official pick. You're gonna take a side.
Nah, no side for me, but my lean would be LSU.
Gotcha. All right. One last SEC game, one last college game for this week. We have Tennessee with a weird line, not weird, but just ugly, minus 11.5 against South Carolina, over under 63.5. Is this spread too big, Connor, or is it right where it needs to be?
I think it's right where it should be. Found it interesting. Was talking to Volunteers fan I know. He was saying like other Volunteer faithful are really questioning if Joe Milton's the guy to be at Tennessee. So that, and I mean the last matchup they had with these two teams, I think South Carolina won by like 30 or something. So
this is true.
I'm rocking with South Carolina. You see the hat right here. I think Spencer Rattler is gonna do his thing. Obviously, it's hard to predict what Spencer Rattler shows up on any given week, but I'm just not high on Tennessee. They lost a lot from last year, and Hooker going down. I'm rolling with the Gamecocks.
Fair enough. And after I made these fancy little banners, the line changed, so I just changed the banner for us. It's Tennessee minus 12 against South Carolina, which bodes even better for what I'm about to say, because I am also going to take South Carolina and the points. This is going to be at Neyland Stadium, mind you, so that is a big home advantage. But I think the Gamecocks need to get on right track. This is where you start. Tennessee has been – I mean, if you're asking me, I think Tennessee is doing exactly what I thought they would do. I thought Joe Milton was overrated from the start. Not overrated, but like way overhyped. Like, obviously he's good. He's a starter at a SEC school, so he's a good quarterback, no doubt. But he's not Hendon Hooker, or he would have started. I think that, yes, he can throw the ball 80 yards, but if you want to throw 40 yards, what are you going to do? That's what I'm saying. If the receiver's only 40 yards away, that's a problem. I do think that he's looking better, for sure. I think that Florida really did something to him, kind of got him kind of more, I don't know, where he needs to be. I mean, they put up 40-something plus points against UTSA, so. But I like the Gamecocks here. I think that, they had their number last year, and I think this is a good number for them to cover. Not necessarily win, but I like him inside 12 here. Let's roll right in the NFL. Short NFL slate. Kind of an ugly slate when Connor and I both looked at it. We're not trying to give y'all we're not just going to feed y'all a bunch of picks that we don't really believe in. We we only give you 3 NFL games because we only like those games. You know what I mean? We're about quality and not quantity here at Pickin 6. So this is a game that I like personally. I think this is a trap game for bettors, potentially. Steelers minus 3 against the Texans, over under 42.5. The public money is leaning towards the Texans. I mean, rightfully so. They came out. CJ Stroud looked like he was lighting the world on fire, and Tank Dell looked great. Damian Pierce, the whole gang was getting involved, including the Texans fullback on the kickoff return. I think he took one to the crib against the Jags. Either way, the Steelers defense and TJ Watt are not the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that is why this game is in Houston. I personally like the Steelers and the points. Connor, do you have any thoughts?
Despite the public money, I think I'm going to be on the Texans. Despite the Steelers' phenomenal defense, their offense is something that I don't think can be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And the Texans just are and have been a team that just continues to cover in games that they probably shouldn't win. Or shouldn't even be close. And that's going to be another one of those right here.
Yeah. This line, this line opened at 4.5. Shockingly, I would have thought it would have been higher. It is going to be a lovely day in Houston. So I'm just saying, I think we could see rookie quarterback against TJ Watt is my only thing that makes me like the Steelers. Rookie quarterback against a defense like the Steelers. I'm sticking with him. I like him in the points here. It could be a trap, could not be. It could be a trap either way, really, if you think about it. Given the way both these teams are shaking out. But I'm gonna fall right for it then. Take the bait, take the Steelers -3. It's a game you liked. I kind of like it too. Browns also -3 against the Ravens. Over under 40.5 after that weird one for the Ravens against the Colts. Possibly a phantom missed face mask call. Definitely wasn't missed face mask call. My brother was a Colts fan at that stadium. Was when cheering. I FaceTimed him. He was having a great time. Justin Tucker misses a 61-yarder. Looked very confident stepping up to that football just to miss it. I mean, it's in the rain. What can you do? But what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, the Ravens seem to be in shambles. Amara isn't looking great. He's got nobody handing the ball off to, no quarterbacks, really no one to throw it to. So like I don't know what they're going to be able to do on offense. Browns defense has looked electric. Myles Garrett has been playing out of his damn mind, and Browns offense hasn't looked terrible even with Nick Chubb going down. Kareem Hunt's probably going to be back in the lineup, but Ford, what's his name, stepped in. Jerome Ford. Yeah, they still have enough of an offense. Deshaun, they've been playing well, even with Deshaun Watson not looking great.
Mm-hmm.
Really not looking good for that matter. But yeah, I think they get it done and cover that field goal spread.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll pick a side, but I do like the under here. We talked about the Ravens' lack of offensive options and the power of Myles Garrett and the Browns' defense. I'm going to take the under here. Yeah, that's where I'm sticking. I'm not going to pick a side there. And this last game we have here is undoubtedly the game of the weekend. Should be the primetime game. Move the Jets-Chiefs game. No offense. Fire Zach Wilson. Throw him in a trash can. Clearly, that's what the Jets fans want. But we got the Bills -3. As we all know, the Dolphins did win by 50. Foregoing the record for most points in a game. Did Mike McDaniel do that on purpose? I don't know. But what are our thoughts here on what could be one of the better games of the season?
Certainly poised to be a great game. I think this one's looking like a trap to me. Dolphins coming off of a 70-point win, really rolling on all cylinders coming into this one, both on both sides of the ball. But I'm inclined to say that the Dolphins, or any team that's really on like this much of a hot streak, typically, like I'll have this opinion later in the season for a team that's undefeated, like 8-9 weeks into the season. But given the fact that they just put up 70, kind of brings it into play for me, where I think it's going to be downhill from here. Like where like a number of things, like if a couple things go wrong, it'll go really wrong for the Dolphins. Yeah. Tua gets banged up, and like he remembers that he's basically made out of glass. then their season is toast. Or Tyreek Hill goes down because Waddle was in concussion protocol.
He's back. He's good for the weekend.
Good for the fantasy team. But Buffalo's got a great defense. I think Josh Allen, for them, it's really they're on the trajectory upward. I think still in the running for potential Super Bowl berth for them. But yeah, I'm on the Bills to cover. I think everyone's going to be jumping on the Dolphins train, and I just don't think that's the right play. Like they're finally playing a team that could actually put up a point in the manner that the Dolphins can, but also there's a defense that could actually do some things to stop the Dolphins on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. People are asking, did the Dolphins score all their points in the last game and not save any for this? That's what people are asking here.
Certainly possible.
They might have scored too many touchdowns in the last game. They saved 0 for this game. Too many points, and have they peaked too early? They look ready to play the Super Bowl if the Super Bowl happened in week 4. You know what I mean? Like it's a long season. I definitely agree with some of the points that you made. But I mean, what I'm probably going to look at is what is that Dolphins team total? right now. Like, there's not too many important people out for either team. Looks like Jalen Waddle's going to be coming back. I know Jeff Wilson's being missed, but dude, that A Chain, dude, the Dolphins running backs combined for 8 touchdowns. So I mean, they're doing all right, and I mean, a lot of that is to, like, credit to Mike McDaniel in his, quick, not quick rise to fame, but great play calling. And when a team doesn't even want to give you an interview, what you do is you score 70 points against that team. Um, that's what you just do. As far as this game, I think it's too much of a trap to the point where I don't want to pick a side. I might take a team total, seeing where they're at. This definitely is full of prop parlay and same game parlay opportunities. That's what I recommend people doing. I have not had a chance to look at what the props are going to be up to this point, but yeah, I'm going to stay away from this for right now as far as a side. Definitely would lean over, clearly, for very obvious reasons. But yeah, man, that's all I'm thinking. But it's going to be a great game no matter what. Like I said, we appreciate each and every one of you for sticking around. If you have, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. Both of our Twitter handles are underneath our names. Follow all of us, the boys, the fellas, on Twitter, X, and Instagram @_Pickin winners. We appreciate everybody coming out. Connor, any closing thoughts for anybody watching?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Love it. That's all we need. We're here looking for a positive week. Like we said, 51% is the goal. Obviously, we want it to be 100, but what can you do? I hope that everybody has a happy, healthy, and safe weekend of gambling.